That is the sound of an ambush in the sky. It's the signal a pilot hears just seconds before a potential missile launch. It's one of the most threatening acts a military aircraft can take, one step short of open war. And just recently, over the tense waters near Okinawa, Japanese F-15 pilots heard this exact sound, aimed directly at them by Chinese J-15 fighter jets. On December 6, 2025, in an act Japan's defense minister called extremely regrettable and dangerous, Chinese fighters flying from the aircraft carrier Liaoning locked their fire control radars onto Japanese jets. This wasn't a vague radar sweep, this was a simulated kill. It's the first time Tokyo has ever publicly confirmed an incident like this involving Chinese warplanes, and it signals a chilling new phase in their rivalry.
Defense Minister Koizumi Shinjiro made these remarks in connection with the December 6th incident in which Liaoning-based jets intermittently locked radar on the Japanese Self-Defense Forces F-15 aircraft twice. The Chinese Navy claims that the SDF aircraft interfered during a training exercise it had announced about in advance. But Koizumi flatly denied this assertion. The defense minister refrained from confirming media reports that China did not respond to the defense hotline with Japan, saying he was doing so to ensure smooth communication with the country.
But this encounter is just the tip of the spear. What makes this so terrifying for Tokyo is the technology behind it. Reports suggest China's newer land-based fighters are fielding radars capable of locking onto targets from staggering distances, potentially as far as 148 kilometers. This isn't just about one tense moment, it's about a fundamental shift in the balance of power, leaving Japan's elite pilots dangerously exposed and forcing the nation to question its entire defense strategy. For decades, the skies over the East China Sea have been a theater of tense but professional intercepts. But the old rules are fading. What was once a predictable dance has become dangerously aggressive. The December 6th incidents near Okinawa shattered any remaining illusions. According to Japan's Ministry of Defense, Chinese J-15s intermittently illuminated their fire control radars on two separate Japanese F-15s that were scrambled to monitor the Chinese carrier group. China shot back, denying the use of fire control radar and accusing the Japanese jets of disrupting their naval exercises. But military analysts know the difference. A search radar is like a flashlight in a dark room, it scans broadly. A fire control radar is a sniper's laser sight, it paints a single target for a missile. This was no accident, it was a message. A similar, and just as dangerous, message was sent back in 2013 when a Chinese naval frigate locked its fire control radar on a Japanese destroyer. This new aggression is the sharp end of China's much bigger strategy: anti-access, area denial, or A2AD. The goal is simple: create a massive bubble over the Western Pacific that makes it too dangerous for American and Japanese forces to get close, especially in a crisis over a place like Taiwan. The key to this invisible wall is China's advanced radar. They've poured billions into powerful active electronically scanned array, or AESA, radars for their newest fighters, like the J-16 and the stealthy J-20. It's the reported capabilities of these systems that have strategists in Tokyo so worried. The ability to detect and lock onto an enemy from 148 kilometers or more gives China a staggering advantage. For Japanese pilots, it means that the moment they take off, they have to assume they're already being watched, and potentially, already targeted. So why is a long-range radar lock so terrifying? You have to understand the modern kill chain. Air combat isn't about Top Gun-style dogfights anymore. It's about who sees first, shoots first, and hits first. The winner is often decided before the pilots even guess. China's long-range radar is the first, critical link. An advanced AESA radar on a J-20 or J-16 can scan the skies, find a Japanese jet, and get a weapons quality lock while staying far outside the range of the Japanese jet's own sensors. The second link is the missile. China has paired its new radars with one of the most formidable air-to-air missiles in the world, the PL-15. While its export version has a range of around 145 kilometers, the domestic version used by China's Air Force is estimated to have a range well over 200 kilometers. It's a fast, maneuverable weapon with its own radar, making it incredibly hard to dodge. Combine a radar that can see for miles with a missile that can fly even farther, and you create a vast no-escape zone. A Chinese fighter could, in theory, detect a Japanese F-15, launch a PL-15, and turn back to safety before the Japanese pilots' warning systems have much time to react. This changes everything. It dramatically shortens the timeline pilots have to defend themselves and puts a huge premium on technology over pilot skill. The Japan Air Self-Defense Force, long considered one of the world's best, now faces a future where its jets could be targeted by an enemy they can't see, from a distance at which they can't fight back. This technological leap is forcing a complete overhaul of Japan's defense doctrine. It's a seismic shift that goes far beyond just military hardware. If you're finding this analysis insightful, take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the technologies shaping our world. At this point, you're probably thinking, but what about stealth? Doesn't Japan fly the F-35? And that's true. For years, stealth was seen as the ultimate trump card, an invisibility cloak that would make Chinese radar obsolete. But China has been obsessed with one goal: defeating American and Japanese stealth. They aren't just building one type of radar. They're building a layered, integrated network designed to unmask low observable aircraft. This network includes massive ground-based systems like the YLC-8E and SLC-7 radars. These radars operate on lower frequency bands, UHF and L-band, which are less precise for guiding a missile but much better at getting a faint ping off a stealth aircraft's shape. The strategy is all about networking. A big ground radar gets a weak signal from an F-35. That rough location data is then instantly shared across the entire network, to fighter jets, naval destroyers, and other sensors, all of which are told to focus on that specific patch of sky. One sensor's faint track becomes the whole network's solid target. This system of systems approach means that even the F-35's invisibility isn't guaranteed anymore. It might evade one radar, but it's much harder to evade all of them at once. For Japan, this is a chilling thought. Its multi-billion-dollar investment in a fleet of F-35s, once seen as the key to air superiority, is now facing a sophisticated counter that threatens to degrade its biggest advantage. China isn't just building better radars, it's building a smarter network designed to chip away at the very idea of stealth. Faced with this new era of vulnerability, Japan is undertaking the most radical shift in its defense policy since World War II. The psychological shock of China's growing power, punctuated by events like the recent fighter radar lock, has forced a fundamental rethinking of Tokyo's defense posture. The most obvious change is the budget. For decades, Japan's defense spending was capped at roughly 1% of GDP. Now, the government is on track to hit 2% by 2027, unlocking hundreds of billions of dollars for a military overhaul. That money is being poured into a desperate technological race. Japan knows it can't match China's sheer numbers, so it's betting on a generational leap in technology. The centerpiece of this plan is the Global Combat Air Program, or GCAP. In a landmark partnership with the UK and Italy, Japan is co-developing a sixth-generation fighter jet, targeting service around 2035. This new jet is being designed from the ground up to counter the threats posed by China's networks, featuring its own advanced sensors, AI, and the ability to control drone swarms. But 2035 is a long way off. In the meantime, Japan is forced to make tough choices. It's investing in long-range standoff missiles to fire from safer distances and deepening its reliance on the United States for the intelligence and early warning data needed to counter China's reach. The pressure on Japan's pilots is immense. They must train for scenarios where they start at a disadvantage, operating under the constant shadow of an adversary who can see them from over the horizon. The recent radar lock wasn't just a military action, it was a psychological blow that has thrown Japan into a frantic race against time. China's development of long-range AESA radars and its willingness to use them aggressively, as seen in the December 6 fighter-on-fighter incident, is more than a technical achievement. It's a strategic weapon that has exposed Japan's vulnerability, challenged its most advanced fighters, and shattered any illusion of a stable military balance in the region. This growing threat has acted as a catalyst, forcing Tokyo to abandon decades of military restraint and launch an unprecedented rearmament program. Japan is now in a high-stakes race to close a terrifying technological gap. The skies over the East China Sea have become a laboratory for 21st-century warfare, a place of networked sensors, long-range missiles, and simulated kills fought in the silent, digital world of signals. And that leaves us with the final, unsettling question. As Japan rushes to field its own sixth-generation technology, will it be enough to restore the balance? Or is the era of Japanese air superiority over for good? Let us know what you think in the comments.